Season's greetings and salutations. We are live on the internet from Memphis, Tennessee. Hello, I'm Kevin Cerrito, joined alongside Holly Whitfield for our annual Memphis year in review. And it's going to be the most unique one we have done. Holly, welcome. How are you?
I am great. Live from Memphis, Tennessee. Very excited. I'm
Right. The hopefully your internet stays with us throughout this broadcast, and but we're glad everybody's here. We're live. So traditionally we are here, we're chatting around this time of year, reminiscing about all the great things of the past 365 days. And usually in the before times, we would be, whether it was the I Love Memphis podcast or my radio show. This year, just it's 2020. It's all new, right? It's all different. We've adjusted. Here we are streaming live on the internet. So we are streaming all over the place on the Cerrito Entertainment pages live right now. So if you want to interact with us, you can. We're at CerritoEntertainment.com. We're on Twitter, Twitch, multiple Facebook pages, as well as YouTube. So whichever one of those is your preferred, you can jump over to there and find the broadcast and interact with us as we go along. We want to know what you will remember from this past year here in Memphis as we take a look back at the past 365 days. What a great, great. That's what I would usually say. What a great year it has been. But
yeah,
go ahead, Holly.
I was going to say, I published my weekly 5 things to do list just a few minutes ago, and I was talking about our stream today and tomorrow. And I gave them some unofficial names. Maybe I like your Memphis year in review. That can continue to be our official name. But I was thinking 20 recap. Some good things happened. And then when we talk about 2021, all hope is not lost. So that's my typical, I don't know, dark sense of humor. But again, all hope is not lost. And I like Memphis year in review, but we can also say some good things happened. Because they really did.
Oh no, you're right. I mean, it's a Memphis year in review, but it definitely is that. It seems like it needs that subtitle that you would get with a movie sequel, like Memphis year in review. Kevin has had a haircut since February.
Yeah,
that's those you need some type of a caption on there. But if you are watching live, again, let us know in the comments, the chats. We're going to monitor all of those. We've also got responses on Twitter. Holly's at I Love Memphis. I'm at Cerrito on Twitter. But we're going to check those throughout as we take our trip down memory lane this afternoon. Holly, where to begin? I mean, are we going to start? I would love to start with the 2 months before everything changed, the January, February. Is there something? This is the most fascinating thing to me as we reminisce.
Well, I was telling you the other day, the main thing that I wanted to say from my perspective is that January and February 2020 in Memphis were record-breaking for tourism.
So it was big where people were coming in droves in January and February.
Yeah, and they really were. And that was great. But
in those cold weather months, I mean, you do have the Elvis event in January and Martin Luther King. This is a great place to travel to commemorate that weekend. But yeah, that's very, very fascinating. So the momentum, of course, was dead end by mid-March before St. Patrick's Day. But tourism wise, it was a good early year. I do remember, because always to prepare for this, I'll go back and listen to our preview, right? And try to figure out what did we get right? What did we get wrong? Previewing 2020, so many things we got wrong, of course, about this year. It's not predictions as much as we see what's on the forecast, but some things did happen. January, as a wrestling fan, that was a big month for me. That was something we talked about on the show, but pre-pandemic. WWE was here, AEW, NXT. If you're a wrestling fan, there was 2 901 wrestling shows. They were all within 1 month. They had a tribute to Memphis wrestling, which was a pretty cool thing to happen. back in the whole month of January. It was really a jam-packed January, maybe the busiest month in the history of the city, which loves professional wrestling. But really, like, I try. It's so hard to remember back then of the way things were before now. But I would love to know anybody who's watching, who's got any thoughts, any comments. Let us know as we are streaming here live. Let's see. One thing I remember of the year. So, anything else from January, February before we get this going, Holly? Anything else you can think of? High tourism numbers, lots of pro wrestling. Right. Not much. Not much.
It feels like it was 10 years ago. I'm going to plug. If I disappear for 1 second, do not be alarmed.
All right, Holly's going to plug her computer and we'll see what. Okay, this is live. We are live, folks. This is all right. It's plugged in. Holly is back.
Okay, it unplugged itself somehow. Right.
So the year started. We thought we were possible. Some things were going to open. We were excited about restaurants, yada yada yada. And so during this, we will take a look back at what Memphis was like here during this pandemic year. So first thing I remember is I'm going to remember about this year was the surprise release of this book.
Yay!
Secret Memphis. This book, fantastic book. I love very well written book. Of course, by Holly Whitfield. This book came out. When did it come out?
It officially came out in May. And you know, when you write a book, when you write your first book, which this is my first book, you think that you're going to have a big party with all your friends and all your people, and you're going to have Cerrito broadcasting live from the party, and you're going to be, you know, really hamming it up and enjoying that. And that was just not how things went down for me when I released this book, but it's okay. It's been so fun to see how people have used it and the guides inside of it to figure out what to do, because so much of it's like stuff outside that you can do this year. So it's been interesting, not ideal for a book release, but also at the same time really helpful this year.
So this was definitely very memorable. You didn't get to have a traditional book release. We did celebrate 901 Day at a place pictured on the cover here, and you signed some of those books, and people can still get the book right now. If you go to secretmemphis.com, makes a great stocking stuff for now. They get it in time for Christmas, but they got to be local.
Yeah, if you're in a Memphis area, I will gift wrap that book and I will bring it to you. So just order it and select those options at secretmemphis.com, and I will make your life easier.
All right, so secretmemphis.com. I love this book. We've talked a lot about it. I still have not read every page. I'm one of those I jump around, but I'm sure I will here in the holidays. But if you know anybody in the Memphis area and you're looking for a last minute gift, secretmemphis.com. I mean, that is the place to go and order this gift. If you're local, you can get it before Christmas. If you can't, if you're not local, just order it and get it at some point, because it's definitely worth it.
I appreciate that, Kevin. And I want to give you some props too, because you're talking about our preview for the year, and every year I put out this huge list of events of things going on in Memphis. And so many of those were canceled and everyone was sad, and people did virtual events and they were good. And we're going to talk about some of those, but I wanted to give you props because you decided to do a virtual Memphis Beer Festival. And it wasn't just something that you put on Facebook Live. It was an entire event with programming all afternoon back in October. And it was a highlight for me and for people I know who love Memphis beer and could spend the afternoon. You got this great selection of beer from local craft breweries. You had people talking and tasting all day. You had the brewers on there. We had entertainment. I mean, you knocked this virtual event out of the park, and I'm so glad that you're going to do one again in 2021. I guess we have to wait to talk about that, but I just wanted to give you props for making such a complete and comprehensive, really fun, genuinely fun virtual event.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yes, it was a lot of fun to put that on. Definitely a highlight of the year. Yes, tomorrow we're getting back together, 3 o'clock hour, live streaming our preview of 2021, and we will, of course, talk about virtual Memphis Beer Fest too. But that also is something that could make a great holiday gift for anybody tuning in. If you've got a beer lover on your list, go to virtualmemphisbeerfest.com. You can order tickets today. We do have a promo code that we announced last night, and then we're only announcing it on this stream. We're not posting it anywhere else. So if you're tuning in right now, if you type in Secret Memphis when you buy your tickets for the virtual Memphis Beer Fest, you get $5 off your tickets. So you get that. That's only going to last through the end of tomorrow. We'll announce it. We'll say it again on tomorrow's live stream. So if you were thinking about getting tickets, use the promo code Secret Memphis, and you can get $5 off. But it makes a great gift that you can get the beer lover in your life. VirtualMemphisBeerFest.com. It's coming up. The second one will be on the 13th of March. So we'll talk more about that though tomorrow. Virtual Memphis Beer Fest. Was a lot of fun, and I thank you again for those kind words. So it was a busy year for the two of us. Who would have thunk? I mean, maybe you were planning the book this time last year. I'm guessing you were planning the book.
Yeah,
you just weren't telling anybody.
Yeah, I was working on it, but I kept it quiet.
I had, yeah,
but
I
it was a busy
I had no clue that I was going to be doing a virtual beer fest.
Virtual bingo.
And I hosted trivia at the drive-in. It was a very unpredictable year for what I do for what I used to do for a living and what now I do for very trying to get by here. All right, so virtual event. Let's talk about virtual events because the virtual Memphis Beer Fest was not the only virtual event. I, of course, host virtual on my end. Yes, I'm hosting virtual bingo. Got some of that coming up. We'll talk about it later in the show. Matching in Memphis tonight's the Matching in Memphis Christmas special. But I mean, Memphis got a game show this year that I have the pleasure of hosting. And so Matching in Memphis is a virtual event. What other virtual events happened here in 2020?
Way too many to mention all of them, but a few I did definitely want to highlight. So the Music Hub in Memphis, which is connected to Memphis tourism, right at the very beginning, I'm talking like 2 weeks after everything shut down, March 28th, I think, we did a huge Get Live virtual concert with a bunch of different Memphis artists and raised a bunch of money for artist relief funds. And we were one of the first people to do kind of this big virtual concert thing. I mean, we had Southern Avenue, we had I Make Mad Beats, we had Ben Nichols from Lucero, and we had people from all around the world tune in. So that Get Live concert way back in March was really awesome. I mean, all kind of events did their thing virtually, like the Cooper Young Garden Walk was one really great one. One thing I wanted to point out is Twitch, and I think we're live on Twitch right now too. I learned about Twitch this year for the first time, but these video game Twitch streamers, these people who are experts at the Twitch, raised so much money for St. Jude. St. Jude has a program called St. Jude Play Live, where they work with Twitch streamers to raise money for the Children's Hospital and curing childhood cancer and being generally awesome. And so there are a bunch of different Memphis groups that got in on that action. Extra Life for Kids, JDRF Game to Give, and our friends at Nerd 901 were always spreading the word about these. So people kind of took these virtual events and really made it into something to give back, not just to Memphis. St. Jude serves the world. So those are like my favorite virtual events, but there were a ton.
There were a ton. It was the year of trying to adapt things to the new world that we lived in. All things we couldn't predict. We knew there was going to be a garden walk. We knew there would be fundraisers for St. Jude. We knew there'd be concerts, but in the way that they are, because man, do we miss just the traditional live events. So we had your book came out. There were virtual events. Yes, these are things that are going to be like cemented in our brain of being things that happened this year. But there was other stuff. There was other stuff that went down that was really cool for Memphis. How about let's see. How about I want to talk about Uncorked on Netflix. I was on the Jeff Calkins show today this is another new thing I started here during the pandemic, during 2020, but I do a weekly call-in on Jeff Calkins show playing trivia, and I've adapted trivia for the radio. But I what was the name of the Netflix movie that came out this year about the young man who upsets his father when he wants to get into the wine business and not the barbecue business? But that movie dropped and gave us something to watch from our house earlier on in the pandemic.
Yeah.
What was the name of that movie?
Uncorked.
That is correct. That is right.
It was filmed, a lot of it was filmed in Memphis, and so that's really cool.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Most of it's set in Memphis, but they venture out, and that movie was kind of unexpected. It was the year we also find out the Bluff City Law was officially canceled.
Yeah, that happened, but it was fun while it lasted. I got into it, so
yeah. Oh, and that was definitely
light a candle for it.
So we had Uncorked. What else? What else do we have going on here? So that was also something we did virtually. We watched on our TVs and our computers.
I mean, Indie Memphis went virtual and produced a ton of programming all year for people who wanted to keep supporting our local film festival. A lot of stuff with movies. I mean, you did your trivia at the drive-in. That was really fun. The drive-in got a lot of love from people. I went several times to a safe thing to do. Their movie popcorn. That was cool. A lot of people did different things. So it was great to see Malco being like, you know what you want. You want that buttery, salty goodness. Let's sell it to you.
I'm about to go pick. Yeah, I'm gonna get me some this weekend here to munch on over the holidays. Yeah, Malco. Full disclosure, I've been working closely with them throughout the pandemic, having trivia there at the drive-in, and the drive-in it's been revitalized in a lot of ways. It's been there, it's been open, but the amount of people who have gone there for the first time or for the first time in a lot of years, this is the year. I would say it all the time. I keep saying, if you haven't been, they've got Christmas movies playing right now. You can still get in before the end of the year and say you went to the drive-in in 2020. You got to get to the drive-in and Malco. Now you can rent out the Malco theaters with your bubble. You can get the popcorn to go. 5-pound bags of popcorns. They're enormous. Holly, have you got one of those?
No, I haven't, but they're huge. They're fun.
They are delicious. So yeah, shout out to Malco. Who would have thought movie theaters going forward will need our support when we preview 2021. Maybe we'll have some ideas on that. What else has happened this year? What else? Man, what a year.
Yeah, we've got a big list, y'all. So we're trying to get through it because a lot of good things did happen this year. I mean, if we're talking about businesses and people who had to pivot, one thing, and we did ask people online what they thought was good that happened in 2020, and a lot of people said drinks to go, alcohol to go, being able to order your favorite cocktail, go pick it up in your Go Cup. This is water, but you could pick it up in your Go Cup, and a lot of different bars and restaurants in Memphis took advantage of that and kept us, well lubricated for the difficult year. So that was a big thing that people mentioned. I mean, we had a lot of that happening.
Let's take a look. Absolutely. The drinks to go. And that's something that it's still happening, right? You can still get your drinks to go. It was big, at least for me. Like it was and when the weather was good, it was a good activity to know you had that ability to illegally take a drink to go. But the restaurants in general, right? It's tough year for restaurants, tough year for trivia hosts, tough year for movie theaters, tough year for restaurants, more so than really anyone. In the virtual Memphis Beer Fest, part of that money that we for the ticket sales, and for the ticket sales at virtual Memphis Beer Fest too as well, will go to restaurant workers who still need assistance and need your love and need your big tips when you get your takeout orders. But we had some new restaurants, and we unfortunately lost some restaurants in 2020. Do we want to where do you want to start, the new ones or the old ones?
Let's talk about some of the ones that we did lose this year. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly, and then we'll talk about some of the ones that did open, including some that have opened like just this week. Really sad. Buddies in Midtown decided to close their Midtown location. They still have their East Memphis location. They still have their Broad Avenue kitchen, but the Midtown Muddies is closed. Hop Dottie Burgers in Overton Square, they still have their location in East Memphis, but no longer in Midtown. Lucky Cat Ramen, that was a hard one for people love ramen, man. That was a hard one for them to lose. Midtown Crossing Grill was an amazing place that provided a venue for comedians and performers and musicians and arty people. I went to Midtown Crossing Grill for so many events and for their delicious pizza, and they unfortunately closed this year. All the Sear Shacks became wing gurus, so that's not too bad. Strano, which was like one of my favorite places for brunch, they closed. Avenue Coffee, which I remember when it opened when I was in college at the University of Memphis, they unfortunately closed too. We also said goodbye to Grove Grill, to Farm and Fries in Germantown, and to the food hall downtown, Puck Food Hall. Although I don't think that's the end of the story for the 409 South Main Puck Food Hall building. So, pour one out for these restaurants. Luckily, as I was going through, I'm just thinking of the people I know who own these places that either have already gone on to do something else really cool or a new restaurant kind of moving into that space. Not lost on those. And like I said, we had plenty of new ones open too.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we're going to probably lose a couple at the beginning of 2021. So it is very important right now, y'all, to order from your local restaurants, your favorite restaurants. Don't just assume that it's going to be there when things get back somewhat normal and later on next year. Support them, get the takeout, and tip them well. But there might be a new favorite restaurant that did open in 2021. Restaurants opening are always something we watched on our preview. One of the restaurants we knew was going to open in 2020 was Porch and Parlor. They did open. And what else opened this year from the restaurants?
All right. So downtown, we had quite a few. We had Curfew, which is in the Canopy Hotel, which is next to AutoZone Park. Curfew restaurant in the hotel is really delicious. I've eaten there once or twice.
When did that open?
I think it opened this summer because I remember it was the first place that I really went and ate on their patio. So that's great. King and Union, another hotel restaurant in the DoubleTree where the TGI Fridays downtown used to be. They have Southern food, pretty good. The Memphis Chess Club, extremely cool restaurant, coffee house, and chess club. Chess is cool now because of the Netflix Queen's Gambit show, but Memphis Chess Club opened right before that show came out, and they have amazing food. It's kind of like you feel like you're in the movie Clue. Like it looks like a really cool vintage library, and the chess club is there for you to play chess and eat, like I said. Also downtown, the Majestic is still there. The owners are still there, but they have pivoted, and now they are serving Italian-American food. It's called Cocaza. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. So that's something new. Wiseacre opened their second tap room, much bigger space in downtown Memphis. I'm trying to do all the downtown ones. Grind City Brewing was our second tap room that opened. That's in, the north part of downtown. What are they calling that? The Snuff District? I don't know. That one's still got to grow on me.
Is that the Snuff? That's the Snuff? Okay, that's the Snuff.
I think it's the Snuff. Maybe it's the Pinch. I got to figure that out, guys. It's still brand
near the Pinch.
Right. It's north, and you get a great view of the pyramid. The High Tone Cafe, a Memphis institution that has moved a couple times, moved into a new location at Crosstown in Cooper Young in the former Bar DKDC location. Carrier opened Hazel's Lucky Dice Deli. If you want to get that Jewish style deli, she's got it. Magnolia and May opened in East Memphis. South Hall Cafe opened in East Memphis. They're all on that strip of Mendenhall that's like by the Gibsons that's getting redone. And
we'll talk tomorrow during our 2021 preview, but like there's going to be oodles of more restaurants just right there in that same spot, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a whole strip that's going to add to what's there. Let me make sure I got the rest of them. Trasimeno Pizzeria is in Crosstown. Stickum, which is a food truck in Memphis for like a decade now, has taken over the space that Blue Nile was in next to the barbecue shop. Same owners. They have a lot of the same stuff on the menu, but Stickum is there. Vibe Foods, healthy food in East Memphis. And then we have the ones that just opened in the last week. Maciel's and Cooper Young, God Bless America, they're open. Slim and Husky's Pizzeria, they opened this week. Long lines of people ready to eat their pizza and cinnamon rolls. And then Little Betty, which is a meetup of two Memphis institutions, the Wiseacre guys and Andrew Michael Italian Kitchen guys came together. They're doing a pizza kind of stand thing at the tap room. I also forgot I love waffle cream. If you haven't been there in Cooper Young, delicious. But yeah, we've had several pizza places open and there's a lot of new things to try, and all of them are serving takeout. So you can still grab it and get home and stay safe.
Well, okay. So it's amazing the number of restaurants that just have opened here in the past couple of days, as you said, like here in December, in the middle of a pandemic, they're getting in under the wire as a 2020 restaurant, and they seem to be doing very well. I saw Maciel's, I saw posting that they like were sold out of food. As you mentioned, the lines we're seeing at Slim and Husky's. Have you been able to go get takeout from any of those places yet?
No, I have not, because I was doing stuff all day yesterday, which is when they all opened and had their soft openings. But on my list for this weekend, I mean, really all of it happened at once. But I do have some info on Slim and Huskies up on the blog because a lot of people had questions about them. But yeah, it's really exciting to see people that are doing their thing and opening their small businesses and their local businesses during a pandemic. You know, it's courageous, and I love that they're getting so much support.
Let's talk pizza, because we can't talk about this year without pizza. We have had, you keep mentioning, and it's hard for me to list them all, but we've had, what are the pizza places that are open specifically this year? Slim and Husky's, we know that. It's from Nashville. They've also, to me, it's a cinnamon roll restaurant from what it looks like. I'll come back and let you know after I try it. But because there's not many of those, there's plenty of pizza places, but like you guys got fancy cinnamon rolls. I'm interested in this. What else did we have that was pizza? That place at Crosstown, what was it called?
Trasimeno, which used to be Elemento. So that's from the same people that own Global Cafe, which is really successful. So they have that kind of Neapolitan inspired style. And then, you know, the High Tone we mentioned that they're in a new space, but they also have brought back a really robust food menu. I mean, you know, the High Tone pizza used to be legendary. And so I think inspired by that, they have pizza there as well. The Memphis Chess Club has pizza on their menu that I've heard is excellent. I had breakfast sandwich when I went, but next time I'm getting pizza. And then Little Betty, the one we just talked about at Wiseacre downtown. So if you want a slice, you want a pie, we have you.
Little Betty is no relation to Little Debbie.
I hope not. That would be weird. Although, you know, I might eat a Swiss cake roll pizza for the right price.
Yeah. I would try that for sure. I'm not a dessert pizza person, but if you were making that, that's it. I think we just came up with our concept maybe here. If anybody wants to invest.
And Hustle and Dough, too, in the Arrive Hotel, they also are doing their pizza with their amazing bakery bread wizards, and they have a pizza now too. I forgot about them. So I feel a listicle coming on. I feel it stirring within me. Pizza. We might have to get some blog posts going on pizza.
Okay, so it does seem like we have a lot, and obviously because of the pandemic, we've lost a lot more restaurants this year, but we still did have quite a few open up. So that they were in the plans, right? Like what you're planning for 2021, like we're going to open up a restaurant this year, and then boom, pandemic happens and you still got to power through. So hopefully, and I've got confidence too, you know, once the vaccine is around and come early summer, restaurants are hopefully it's going to be safe to pack out these restaurants again and really bring them that money that they've been missing. But what else happened here in 2020? What else you got, Holly? What else can we remember? Obviously food is huge. Beer is huge. We talked about Grind City. and I launched a beer show. I'm doing a beer show every Wednesday night. Holly was the guest last night. Every Wednesday night at 9:01, I host with Taylor James from the Madison Growler and Bottle Shop. And we did a live tour of Grind City Brewing on their opening day at the virtual Memphis Beer Festival. That was a fun time there. All right, go ahead, Holly. What else? So outside, so that's beverages. You can take them to go. You can get your takeout now in 2020. What else?
Well, it's the holidays right now. Everyone has been talking about shopping local, and we have new places to do that. We have a lot, so I'm just gonna go down my list. Terracotta, I can't imagine a better place like to have in the pandemic. This is on Summer Avenue. It's owned by two women who are their plant geniuses. So they have plants and they have body products and they have oils and it smells like heaven in there. Anyways, it's amazing. If you are one of these people that's become a plant parent this year, you want to check out Terracotta for sure. You also want to check out Golden Hour Memphis, which is downtown in South Main. Same kind of thing. They are there to help you learn how to take care of plants. The Cheryl Pesh Lifestyle Store, she has everything. She has clothes, she has jewelry, she has local art, she has books. If you need to shop for a bunch of different people, Cheryl Pesh has a store in Crosstown, and then she opened one in Laurelwood, which is awesome. Speaking of art, Arrow Creative, which is like a creative collective in Memphis, has a shop on Broad Avenue now. Also have classes and other resources, artists and creative. Memphis, that's Arrow. And I don't know if I'm saying this next one right. Sorry, Carla, but Ixora. I haven't been able to go in because of the pandemic, but they are doing curbside and online shopping, and they also have a ton of gifts, local stickers. If you need something fun, they have masks at Ixora. It's Ixora, and it's in Crosstown near Black Lodge and where the High Tone was and all of that. Okay, those are some shops. Just
Feeling Memphis is my new favorite shop there on South Main, owned by Miss Pirtle of the Jack Pirtle family. Awesome Memphis gift shop if you're looking for some last minute holiday gifts as well. But it's awesome shop that's good for locals and for tourists. It really is a cool shop. It's on South Main.
Yeah, South Main is awesome right now. They have all the holiday lights up. All the shops are open. Walking Pants Curiosities has been down there. They have a cool Christmas display. So lots of ways to shop local, and including from people who opened this year.
Well, did we have any? So we talked restaurant openings, store openings, any other big openings? Because occasionally we've been doing this recap in some capacity for over 5 years now. We got to get the right number down. But there's like Crosstown will open one year, and we're going to talk tomorrow. Will the airport open? And I might go on a rant about the news today about the airport. But what was the biggest thing that opened this year? Was there anything, or was the pandemic just like nothing's happened?
Well, the convention center is not like technically open, so that would and will be the biggest thing. So I won't say that. But the Raleigh Springs Civic Center, which people may or may not know about, I don't know if we can pull that up, or I'll share it later on the blog, but that was the old Raleigh Springs Mall, and now it's a place where people can go and walk. It's a skate park. It's got a water feature. It's amazing. That's huge for that part of town. Also, the GPAC opened their outdoor space, which is called The Grove at GPAC in Germantown, and they immediately started having outdoor socially distanced events there. So there were some kind of big openings. We didn't have like a crosstown concourse sized thing really this year. But those are some of the medium-sized ones. Theater Memphis did a whole renovation on their space that's going to be great in years to come.
There's been some renovations, and we talked about Malco earlier. Malco out remodeling all of their theaters during the pandemic, taking good use of this time. But the biggest thing that really happened in Memphis is what's happening right now with these airplanes over there by the airport, taking the vaccine across the country. That could be it. Yeah. The FedEx role here, and obviously nothing we could have put on the preview show, but. No. But but FedEx and their role in getting the vaccine distributed is huge. And that you see these planes going overhead all the time, and I'm like, well, that's it. That's the vaccine right there. So that's what I tell my daughter, and I'm pretty sure I'm right most of the time. I'm just imagining every FedEx plane has
Close
a vaccine,
enough.
boxes and boxes on it there. Well, let's see. Then we'll talk about some other just things that occurred, right? These are just kind of like some of them a little offbeat, some of them you might have missed that occurred here this year. And I want to bring up, shout out to our friend Philip Ashley, Philip Ashley's Chocolates, Mr. Memphis's own Willy Wonka, the real life Willy Wonka. He was a panelist on Matching in Memphis as well. But he got put on a pretty big list. And I'm not talking like there's some lists you want to be on. You want to be on a list on the I Love Memphis blog for one. But the list to be on is Oprah's favorite things. And he was one of Oprah's favorite things this year. So
hallelujah. Way to go, Memphis. Way to go, Philip Ashley. Your chocolates have been delighting people, and I hope to save up to buy one day. But they're amazing. They're works of art, and he totally deserves to be on Oprah's favorite things and all of the media attention that comes along with it.
The Memphis Zoo made headlines this year. For one, we found out, I did not know this fact about Tyranza until she passed, but the elephant at the Memphis Zoo, Tyranza, passed away. It was the oldest living elephant in what, this hemisphere, on this continent, or
yeah,
what was it?
Of her species of elephant, the African elephant, I believe, she was the oldest. She was 56 years old, and I think she'd spent like almost her whole life at the Memphis Zoo. And when she passed, it was really sad, but it was also kind of like she was the oldest one in North America. She lived a long, full life. She was the matriarch and the leader of the herd at the zoo, and there was all these like relationships that these elephants have with one another. And I just thought that was really cool that we got to learn about that, even though it was sad. But rest in peace. And thank you to these creatures that gave us something like good to look forward to this year. But yeah, that was a big major headline for the Memphis Zoo. They had a couple of other headlines too this year. Actually,
they've got a new giraffe named after Ja Morant.
Yes, they named it Giraffe. Giraffe. I mean, you know what? That's great. Like, that was amazing. That was really what we needed. They came in clutch with that. We've got Ja Morant, this like bundle of energy, winning Rookie of the Year NBA, just crushing it, giving us life on Twitter. And then the zoo, they have a lot of baby giraffes, I feel like. But then this one this year, we needed him to be Giraffe. And then, he became a meme. And that's really all you can ask for in 2020, to become a delightful meme.
I agree with that. What's up, Seth? Just jumping in, telling us hello in the comments on Facebook. Wherever you're watching this, we are checking the comments and the chat. So if you do have something you remember, a positive memory here of 2020 in Memphis, let us know. We will share it. We're about to go to Twitter as well and take a look at some of what other folks were tweeting back at us this morning. But Seth, tuning in right now. We got Seth. Let us know what your best burger you had this year. I want to know. I'm very curious, Seth, from the Memphis Best Memphis Burger Festival. The zoo. Did you get a chance, Holly, to go to the Baron von Opperbeam Exploratorium?
Yes, I did, and I'm so glad you brought it up, because that was absolutely one of the coolest things that I did this whole year. I mean, top 3 coolest thing. Maybe it's the top coolest. I don't know how to explain it. If you didn't get a chance to go,
you can watch Mike Sticky's new music video. Was filmed there.
Perfect. So you can kind of get a glimpse. But local artist Christopher Reyes spent a year creating an art installation pretty much by hand using mostly recycled products, but it was a warehouse that he converted the inside of it to be this, he called it exploratorium, imaginarium, whatever you want to call it. It was an immersive world. And when you went in there, you walk around, there's music, there's sound, there's video, there's art, you're crawling through tunnels, you're climbing up ladders, you're
going down slides.
Yes, crawling up in spaceships, going into it was just totally took you out of reality. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the City Museum in St. Louis, but kind of even more immersive and more developed. And so I know Chris that created that really wants to do it on a larger scale. And I think the response to it and the way people loved it and the way that you were able to rent out the entire space. I say rent out, that usually comes with like, it costs a whole lot more, but it was still like $10 a person, however many people you have in your pod or your family, you're the only people that are going to be in there. Besides him, they're wearing masks. So it was just super awesome. And he should definitely get like a thank you. Thank you for making Memphis better in 2020. For creating that art.
It was unbelievable. I mean, every week I've been trying to like goals, try to get something, to look forward to, right now during these times. And that was one thing. It was sold out and I was frustrated, but they opened it up for another month and you had to get your reservations. And so we were able to go with the family. It's so hard to explain, and we'll put some links out there. But it was just an amazing, fun experience. And maybe it benefited from the pandemic in the idea that you wouldn't have had it reserved for yourself pre-pandemic. And to me, that was even more of the fun. It's like, okay, we're in this crazy universe with people that I know, and I can just wander and not have to wait behind anybody or anything like that. So that was fun this year.
Right. Exactly.
Any other memories before we go to the Twitter?
Yes. I got to talk about the Wienermobile.
The Wienermobile. You sent me this video. Yes.
Yes. So the Wienermobile comes to Memphis every couple of years, and I saw that it was coming this year, and I got really excited because that's just great for 2020. A gentleman named Salami, definitely his real name, reached out to me to figure out some cool places to go this fall to bring their Wienermobile. They went to Jones Orchard where they had like the corn maze and pumpkin patch and all that. And the best thing, though, to come out of this was that Opera Memphis, who have been killing it all year with amazing performances and creative projects and reverse parades, and I'm going to share all their links for their videos. I did that on the 5 Things to Do this weekend, actually, because they're doing drive-through caroling. But Opera Memphis found out that the Wienermobile was coming and said, you know what, why don't we do a professional opera performance in honor of the Wienermobile? And you think, that's silly, that's funny, but watching it is truly hilarious. So if you haven't taken 3 minutes to watch the Opera Memphis's ode to Wienermobile, how would I recommend it?
Opera Memphis, they've had a lot of fun. So it's like the pandemic impacting all of us, creative types, but the Opera Memphis, they were part of the beer festival as well with us, performing songs inspired by the different beers. So it's just another thing. But if you haven't watched that Wienermobile video, that's perfect. It is awesome. So let's head on over to Twitter and see what's going on. Before we do that, Seth did respond to my question. Best burger that he's had this year. He's standing by Roxy's Groceries. Roxy Grocery, I get it. This is being his favorite burger. It's a great place for takeout to grab the burger as well. I do love the Roxy burger. I was hoping he tried something new this year. I'm trying to think is there anything food-wise, Holly, that you remember that you tried this year that you were like, okay, wow, this is really good. I've tried a ton of beers, and you can follow all that on the Popular Mechanics page. But what have you tried? Was there like a menu item that stuck out? I'll give you some time to think about it if you need it here.
I mean, I think I probably need to think about it, but I know immediately Kokaza Kakaza, however you say it, when they opened, and that's the ghost restaurant that's in the Majestic. When they opened, I got a takeout sort of Italian feast, including cocktails and wine to go, and it was delicious. You know, their cannelloni and their pasta and all of that. That's something that I really enjoyed this year. I've got a lot more to try in the next couple of days because all y'all decide to open.
All y'all.
I'm hungry.
Right, let's look at the Twitter. Let's Let's see. We've got Sticks Carville. Sticks downtown. We mentioned we talk about, so they're in Carville and downtown now.
Yeah, they actually opened this year too. We couldn't get to everybody, but yeah, they opened. They said they had a kindness wall for people to leave positive comments. That's great.
It's right up our alley, right there. For those watching on Twitter, showing the Twitter is probably going to confuse them. So I'm going to get that off of here. Do you have any responses here? You got your Twitter pulled up and want to, is there any responses you want to?
Well, I had some from Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, let's hear them.
So basically I want to go through this list, and I asked people what good happened this year. These are kind of like the quote unquote feel good stories that people are sharing on Twitter. A lot of people said the generosity of Memphians in general, and there were so many different ways that came out, whether it was giving away supplies, giving out masks to different communities, especially at the beginning when people are like, what's a mask? But I know at the beginning also, Elwood Shack actually have their Go Cup here. The folks from Elwood Shack fed hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of frontline workers at different hospitals in Memphis, giving them something good to eat. I know Kelly English was in on that too, and other restaurants. You know, as hard a time as they were having, they were also giving back to these doctors, nurses, healthcare, paramedics, people that were really needed a good, hot, delicious meal at the end of their shift. Carla Worth, I mentioned her earlier, she owns Ixor, the shop, but she said the underground mask makers that pumped out masks for hospitals, nursing homes, and anyone in need. There were so many people who, talented people who could sew, people who were inventive and resourceful. I mean, I ordered masks for all of my family and friends from someone in Memphis who was just making them at the beginning when they were so hard to find. And it was a dire situation and people stepped up to the plate. So I'm really glad that Carla said that. I talked about people giving away supplies and sanitizer. I know Old Dominic and a lot of distilleries kind of pivoted and made hand sanitizer, and Old Dominic in Memphis was one of those as well.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. And then you had talked about earlier, there was a lot of different relief funds, especially for people who are out of work, especially musicians and service industry workers. And I know that the virtual beer fest benefited that, and the virtual concerts we talked about, but the Music Export Memphis's COVID Relief Fund, and then Edible Memphis, one of my favorite publications in Memphis, is just totally dedicated to Memphis food. Edible Memphis also put together a huge relief fund for service industry workers. So there were a lot of, and those are just two out of probably dozens of people that raised money and gave what they could. And
you can still donate. You can still donate to the GoFundMe.
It's not over. I mean, it's not over at all. The other thing I did want to quickly shout out, this was something that came from me really thinking about, everybody was all about getting outside. This year. And so all these outdoor institutions in Memphis that have long been a part of our culture, they really did have to kind of step it up though and introduce a lot of new people to what they were doing. Explore Bike Share was giving out free bike rides all the time, keeping us moving. Shelby Farmers in Overton Park, they're nonprofits, they get help from people who are in the community, and they kept that going for us to be able to enjoy. Blue City Kayaks is like a new kayak touring company helping people discover the Wolf River Conservancy. The Memphis River Parks, we'll probably talk more about them tomorrow for Tom Lee Park's renovation, but everybody was just kind of all hands on deck, especially this spring and summer. And so seeing all these highlights that people had to share online of good things that happened. Christ Community Health was another one that started out testing really early and helping people do that. there were good things that happened. The Mr. Rogers quote about looking for the helpers, that has been going through my mind a lot as we think about 2020.
It's one of those years like when we're posting this, like, hey, we're recapping 2020. Nobody gets excited about it.
No.
But if you think about it, it brought out really showed a lot of people's true colors, and it really a lot of people stepped up and helped. And knowing that we're ending the year with the vaccine news and FedEx being a part of it is it's exciting going forward. Like, it's not as depressing of an end of the year, and it's going to be a very fun preview of 2021 tomorrow. So tomorrow we will do our annual preview of 2021. That's going to happen tomorrow at 3 p.m. We'll start streaming here to spend another part of our afternoon with you before you get your weekend started. So make your plans now to stop doing work, reschedule your Zoom meeting for tomorrow so you can join us live. But all these videos will be available on all sorts of different places, but we'll be posting them up on the I Love Memphis blog. There'll also be audio versions of these on the I Love Memphis podcast feed, which will get its first upload in quite a long time, but not the first one of 2020. And we will also, you can watch it on YouTube, other places. So wherever you're watching, go back and catch these if you can't catch us live tomorrow. But I do also want to remind folks about Holly's book. It is Secret Memphis. Secret Memphis is available right now at secretmemphis.com if you want to get it before the holidays. If you want to get it for yourself or for someone you know, or tell somebody, they're like, what do I need to get you for Christmas? Well, if you're in the Memphis area, you can get it before Christmas. If you order it now, secretmemphis.com, you can get it with a very special message on the title page there in the inside. I've got my autographed copy. And you should too. So Secret Memphis from Holly Whitfield, now available, secretmemphis.com. Holly, now an author, which is
can't believe it.
it's a very, very, very exciting. Also, virtual Memphis Beer Fest tickets are again still available if you're looking for something to stuff your stocking. Stuff your stocking with.
Do whatever they want, Kevin. They can do
whatever you want. But Beer Fest tickets would make a great holiday gift. Virtual Memphis Beer Fest.com. Virtual Memphis Beer Fest 2 is happening in March. We'll still be figuring this world out of the pandemic come then. So get your tickets. It's going to be great. We're having a brand new slate of beers, a lot more excitement, including, Holly, that beer that you helped name. It's 901 Somewhere.
Love it.
Scheduled to debut at the festival next year. If you want to be the first to drink, it's 901 Somewhere. Holly, any final thoughts on 2020? We've got some time left. What is it? Today's the 17th.
Yes.
So there is some time left. Any more tweets? Any more thoughts? I do think we talk about bringing out the best and the creativity, and I've had spent so much year, the frustrating thing of coming up with new different ways to do everything, including this annual tradition that we have, that we're now live on the internet streaming. But other people have done that as well. Like we talk about the two broke bartenders, a bunch of bartenders that got out of work, that got together with folks who worked like a rec room and rail garden and stuff. You had a laid off lawn care started by a bartender as well. Those are other things it's like there are these positive, inspirational stories that you can take out of this year as we I mean, I'm not trying to trick anybody. I'm excited as anybody else to get out of 2020, but
it's good. It's been great to spend this hour just, basking in the goodness, because so much of everything that we've had to say, I'm all about the positivity. My blog is I Love Memphis. It's all about what's good. So it's been weird to kind of have to say, but at the end of every good thing, or let's talk about how we're going to put Santa in a glass cage this year for pictures. So everything's been kind of tempered with the reality. So it's been really great to spend this hour just talking about good stuff. And if people have more good things that they want to talk about or shout out for 2020, CJ was, our old friend CJ was tweeting us about a new court design at Housing Park. Memphis Whistle was another group of bartenders. All these things. If you've got more, tweet at me at I Love Memphis or tweet at Kevin at Cerrito. I'm going to try to keep up this list going and publish something on the blog. And then if you have something that y'all are looking forward to for 2021, I'm going to tweet about it in the morning and get some feedback. But if you have something that you are personally looking forward to that's happening in Memphis, it should probably be Memphis related, let us know, because, we're trying to bring some light here to the end of the year.
Yeah. And so tomorrow, 3 p.m., we'll be having that preview. Before we get there, though, tonight, you might want to join me. Talked about new things in 2020. Matching in Memphis, a virtual game show presented by Riverside Rye. Our Christmas special goes live tonight at 8:30. If you've not watched or participated, interacted with Matching in Memphis, well, tonight's a good night to do it. We had 15 episodes earlier this year. We've been off for a few months, but tonight we are back one night only for the Christmas special live at 8:30, CerritoEntertainment.com. Wherever you're watching this, you can probably watch it tonight, play along, and win some great prizes. The Matching in Memphis Christmas special. Muck Sticky will be there tonight. I will be hosting, and I can't wait to get back together with a lot of my favorite panelists this evening for that. Holly, thanks for joining me today. I'll see you in about 23 hours. I'm looking forward to thinking about, if you already, yes, please tweet us. Let us know what there is to look forward to. We do have a list, and if you don't have anything, if you think, oh my goodness, nothing's happening, or there's a lot on the way, and hopefully we can fit it all into 1 hour. Big thanks to Connor Ryan. And Connor Ryan is the guy who did this photo that's behind us, right? Connor Ryan with
yes.
For the beautiful photography that is our background. You can follow him on Instagram at Connor D Ryan on Instagram. Give him a follow and check out his cool photography there. Holly, thank you. I will talk to you tomorrow.